Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Ran. In this channel, I share knowledge and practical techniques on everything about mental health. So today I wanted to continue talking about setting boundaries. And in this video, I wanted to discuss 3 biggest barriers towards setting boundaries and how to overcome them. So let's jump right into it. The first barrier towards setting boundaries is that we are unable to recognize our feelings and our needs. For a lot of us having issue with boundaries, we really don't have a strong preference. It looks like we're fine either way, right? We don't strongly prefer A, we don't strongly prefer B, and we're fine being treated either way. Like we don't feel furious or we don't feel angry towards either way. So when we don't know how we feel, when we don't have a stand for something, when we don't feel like we strongly prefer you not to do this and we wanted to do this instead. If we don't have this preference, if we don't have strong emotions, we don't have strong feelings about how we think, about how we actually feel, we're numb, like we are okay either way. So it means that we are unable to recognize our underneath needs and desires. And the reason behind this mostly is that when we are with our caregivers, when we're very little, when we're children, our feelings got invalidated, our needs got rejected or shamed. For example, if I cried one day for mommy because I was anxious about something, because I wasn't feeling very well, like I was hungry or like I didn't sleep very well. So of course, as a child, I was pretty anxious and angry. So I cried to get attention from my mom. If my mom was emotionally unavailable, and if she was preoccupied with her thoughts and life, she probably didn't have the patience to deal with me. She probably couldn't really sit by me and listen to me and be attentive about, what are you looking for? Why are you doing this? Why are you crying? Why are you so upset? Tell mom and let me mirror your emotions back. Let me show you how important you are to me and how willing I am to take care of you. So that the child, when she feels this connection, she is more likely, with time, she will be soothed and she will calm down. But if this need wasn't met, or this mom screamed at her for being annoying, for being too burdensome, this kid would learn that, my needs and feelings aren't okay. They're not going to be met somehow anyways. It's helpless and hopeless. So this child splits, and those emotions and feelings and those thoughts will be buried deep down into her subconscious. And she just wouldn't realize them anymore. She wouldn't really pay attention to her feelings and thoughts. Probably she didn't even realize that, I have feelings and I have thoughts under certain situations. So that's why a lot of us in modern life, we are numb, like we're okay either way. We don't really care how you treat me, and we don't really care, like we don't want to strongly pursue this life over another. And this probably means that you have learned to bury your feelings. You have learned not to be attentive to your needs. And what I wanted to do is that firstly, I wanted you to pay attention to your body feelings. I wanted you to find this strong connection between you and your body and this present moment. This is the biggest barrier because most of us, we aren't really paying attention to us. We aren't really paying attention to inner feelings. We are seeking outside. We're constantly looking for validation. We're constantly catering for other people's needs, other people's feelings and emotions, and we're ignoring ourselves. While our feelings and sensations are the biggest indicators, are the biggest teachers towards boundary setting. Maybe when you're under a certain situation, maybe someone said something, they made a joke about something, and I want you to feel, do you feel this unusual mood shift? Do you feel this radical change in body sensations? Do you feel tingling? Do you feel tightness in your chest area? Do you feel this rising anxiety? Do you feel a little bit like anger? I want you to pay attention to those subtle sensations that you weren't paying attention to before, because they are the signs, they are the signals that something inside of you made you feel uncomfortable in response to the situation, in response to this joke. And if you're uncomfortable, it doesn't matter if other people are fine with this joke. It means that you're not fine with it. Your boundary has been overstepped. it means that you're not okay with his joke. So the first step I wanted to do before setting boundaries is to know your needs, to know your feelings, because you have to set boundaries according to your feelings and needs. You have to know what's acceptable to you and what's not. And that's the first step. The second barrier is the belief that we don't deserve to have boundaries. As beginners, when we're learning to set boundaries, we often experience feelings like guilt, shame, anxiety, because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust if this is the right way to do so. Underneath all that, it was a deeply rooted belief that we don't deserve to have this need met. We don't deserve to have this feeling and emotions being validated by other people. We don't know if our needs are correct and appropriate, especially for us who growing up have been shamed over and over again for having strong emotions, for being needy when our parents aren't emotionally available to us, when they are not attentive to our needs, when they don't have the ability to love and care for us. So I wanted to really examine that whenever you have this thought, for example, in a relationship, you are thinking about, well, you really want your partner to be there for you over this weekend. And that's your need, right? That's your need for emotional and physical nurture with your partner. But how many of us who have been shamed before for being needy would feel like, well, we shouldn't be the one to initiate this request because we might get rejected, we might get humiliated, so that not only we don't get our needs met, we suffer emotionally. A lot of us, we feel like, well, we shouldn't have this need for intimacy because we don't probably deserve it. But I wanted to really pay attention to tell yourself that needs are meant to be met. And our job is to recognize those needs and find the appropriate person to meet them, to get them met. If we have a need and we suppress that somehow, it's not going to disappear. It's going to come out in an out of proportion way. Probably it's going to be like a full-blown anger or resentment or blame that you don't want to be with me. I hate you. Why can't you read my feelings? Why can't you tell me that you want to be with me instead of me asking you to do this for me? To overcome this barrier, I want you to really examine the belief that you don't deserve to get your needs met. You don't deserve to get your feelings validated. One very effective way is to go back and review your family history. That's what I did with my therapist when I was going through working on this part. And it turned out that my parents shamed me and rejected me for having needs because I seemed like troublesome and needy to them, even though I was only demonstrating a normal child's need for intimacy and for caring. And I wanted to go through this part as well because you will find out that it's not often the person that in front of you aren't giving you the validation. It was you who is holding on to the negative signals, who's holding on to the negative signs with the negative emotion carried over from your childhood. Even if this person doesn't want to meet your needs, find someone else to meet them. Your job is to recognize them and get them meet. And the third barrier towards boundary setting is that we're going to experience pushbacks from old relationships. I refer to all sorts of relationships like your romantic partners, family members, or friends or co-workers. We let people walk all over us. We never say no to them. So we kind of just already cultivate this persona, facade that we're nice people. We never say no to people. And we overly take responsibility for people's feelings. We always put other people's needs in front of ours because we're so-called nice people, right? I'm not saying like they're bad people, they're trying to take advantage or exploit us. I'm not saying that. But sometimes people are just so used to one relationship dynamic that change is hard to happen because there are gonna be pushbacks, subconsciously or consciously. For example, if I always let my sister or brother make fun of me, like even though I know deep down they love me, and of course they love me, but they were used to the dynamic of use sarcasm to control me, to let me be submissive, to like serve them in some way. when I change, when I harden up, when I try to set boundaries, when I try to tap out and guard my own feelings, they're gonna not be used to it. They might say something like, well, you have changed. You're not the same anymore. Geez, why are you so angry? I'm just kidding, and those stuff. I don't want you to get too furious about this because I know you have been suppressing your anger for a very long time, and it's very likely that you might go explosive in defending yourself, in over-explaining why you do this, why you want to set boundary. But you don't need a reason to set a boundary as long as you don't feel comfortable. You can tell them honestly, just be calm. Don't raise your voice, just tell them, well, I don't really feel comfortable when you say this. It kind of hurts me a little, and I feel like I'm not valued by you. Starting with I statements so that they will know it's not that you're making judgments about them, but you're stating your feelings. So if they really care about you, if they really love you, they may try to take your stand and try to understand, well, maybe I've really said something hurtful. But if it's some people who are trying to intentionally hurt you, like abusers from workplace or school, you're standing up for yourself and guarding your boundaries are gonna really piss them off because they feel like they're losing control. They used to feel joy bullying you, taking advantage of you, controlling you so that they could feel powerful about themselves. But when you do this, when you stand up for yourself, it threatens their identity. It threatens them. It makes them feel vulnerable. So they're gonna be very defensive and they're gonna throw temper tantrum. They're gonna argue with you. They're gonna be pissed at you. But still, remain calm and set negative consequences. If you do this again, I'm gonna walk away. And also reaffirm this boundary and stick to the rules that you set, so that they know that you're serious this time. Alright everyone, I hope this video is helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you wanted to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.